Hi there. Welcome back. So here we are. We are going to make some blooms, and a couple of things before I start. First of all, we are not using the shiny side. I actually had to add in a text on the kind of introduction video. The shiny side, it absorbs the inks, and the matte side actually just moves them. Alcohol inks needs to move the inks, you need a non-porous surface. So you can use glass, metal, you can use canvases that have, usually people will paint over or gesso them, but that's a whole different thing. This is actually just photo paper. So I use Kirkland photo paper. And the reason I use that is the backside, there's no watermark. And that's really important. Sorry about that. It's really important because the inks won't cover the watermark. It'll come through. So remember, no shiny side. You can try it if you want and see what happens. You might like the effect. I have done some projects on the shiny side and they're pretty interesting. But for what we're doing, we're going to use the matte side. Also, I want to apologize. Apparently I say a lot. And like I said, I'm kind of a video virgin over here, so you'll have to excuse that, and I will try not to so much. Okay. So this is the beginning of our blooms. And what we're going to do is we're just using one color for the blooms, and we're going to use the littlest piece, the quarter piece. Then we'll move on to a bigger piece. And the bigger piece is, I'm going to show you how to use multiple colors to get an effect, and also how you can make a background if you want. So this is just a very basic style. And remember, our blooms are going to look different because you might have a lighter or heavier hand with alcohol drops, and we're not doing the same thing. We're doing our own thing. So it's really important for you to not look at someone else's work or look at your work and think, this is not exactly what I thought I was getting. What you're getting is you're getting the knowledge to do this. And I guarantee it's going to be beautiful. Some of the prettiest blooms I've seen have been people that have looked at my work. And trust me, it takes a lot of practice. And a lot of my blooms are honestly kind of crappy, and I chuck them or I'll save them to draw over. So you have faith in yourself because you're going to make some beautiful things. Okay. So we're going to pick a color with the blooms. Remember, we have the black and white, and we're not using that yet. And then we have a blue, a red, and a yellow. And I'm going to link all of my supplies for you. I lately have been getting as much as possible from Dick Blick because they ship the fastest. Even Amazon, I've had a lot of delays. With COVID, things are definitely delayed. I've had delays then, and here I'm waiting for supplies, and it was like 3 weeks. So, oh shoot. So anyway, I just made a goop here. So I'm just going to move that and grab another one. Sorry. Okay, so we're going to pick a color, and these are my three favorite colors actually, and that's why I'm giving them to you. So this is actually Senorita Magenta, and this is a Pinata color. And Pinata makes beautifully pigmented inks. There are other inks that I use, like Tim Holtz, but these are just, for this is the best to learn with. So I'm going to take this ink, and I'm just going to drop 3 drops right in the middle-ish. Oops, well, I don't know, it's squirt. I think I have the squirting bottle again. I'll have to put that aside. I don't know, it's probably gooped up. So it's not a perfect circle, that's okay. And that was probably about 3 drops worth, let's just say. I'm gonna let it dry, but I'm impatient, so I'm gonna take my straw. I'm just going to kind of like go around up here so I don't blow it outward. I'm just trying to dry it because we want it dry for this exercise. Okay. I'm going to put these inks aside because I am going to spin my table. And like I said, this is a turntable. You absolutely do not need a turntable. But it is fun, and you can use any old Lazy Susan, or you could even use a bowl with a piece of cardboard or something on it. Otherwise, just turn it with your hands, because we do turn it a couple times. All right, so this is the start of our bloom. Got my straw, got my alcohol. These little things, I'm actually switching. I'm going to try some other bottles for the colored inks, but these seem to be best for the alcohol. These things, obviously you need it to cover the thing, but I just put my thumb on it because it flops around and it just is a pain in the butt. So before I do it, I'm going to show you or tell you. I'm going to put a drop of ink right on the edge, and then I'm going to go a drop here and a drop here and a drop here. So it's going to be 3 drops. Don't worry if you accidentally do 4 drops, or if you only get 2 drops, or if you do 5 drops. Try for 3. It doesn't really matter. When you see what we're going to do here, then you'll understand. So, and I'm doing this left-handed, and my house is cockeyed. So I'm going to let it sit for a couple of seconds, and then I'm going to blow in the direction that I did the drops. And I don't mind that I'm blowing it right off the paper. So I'm going to turn it. And this time I'm not going to talk as much because that really kind of, that was too long to wait. So we'll go drop, 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 3, 2, 1. Remember, don't breathe in through the straw. It's really easy to do. I know it sounds silly, but it is really easy to do. You know, just don't breathe the alcohol in, please. This is the wrong alcohol. If you want to have alcohol doing this, please don't drink this or sniff it. 1, 2, 3. 3, 2, 1. 2, 3. All right, so we've kind of got 4 corners here, and you're just going to keep going around. I'm just doing 2 in the corner. You can try 2, you can go with 3 if you want. And the main reason for putting drops out here is just to have it go farther. You'll find that when you use bigger paper, that's more important. I hope you can see this. And as you go around, just kind of fill in the blanks a little bit. The longer you wait, the soupier it'll be. So you kind of see what we're getting at here. And I am going into the center a little more. And also, the red, the Senorita Magenta, it's so cool because you can see it has different tones, and a lot of the colors don't do that, but this one does. So I really like it a lot. And I'm generally sloppy, so that's okay. That was 1 drop, so that gave me kind of, let's see where we're at here. So you notice I'm not waiting as long and just blowing the ink out. Some of that is a little bit, makes the ink a little bit lighter, and it doesn't go as far. Kind of reminds me a little bit of peony, maybe. Okay. Kind of like it. I'm just gonna kind of go over it. And that's what I was talking about, is it is basically spit. I'm sorry, but the little moisture droplets. Just give it kind of a little bit of wind there. I'm not going to bother with like a paper towel to dab it. If you do, you might actually lift some of the ink. Actually, I will do it to show you. See, it kind of lifted a tiny bit of ink. And we're not doing anything fancy with sprays or anything like that. So now we are going to take, this is our black. Oh, that's our green. Sorry. The black actually does have a black top. My bad. So I'm going to take this ink. I'm going to open it not over the top. Do not open it over the top. My goal is to just get a couple of drops in the middle. I'm going to start with one drop, depending on how big your bloom is. There is another type of ink that is used, that's a mixative, that operates a little differently. Unfortunately, that's not something that I can get in bulk, and it's in high demand. So I'm using a different black. So it's a little bit of a different method than I actually learned. And I'm going to find where do I want this? Where do I want the center? I think I'm going to turn it this way. And I'm going to put the center right here, kind of not quite in the middle, a little off. So I'm going to do one drop. Okay, there. I'm sorry, I had to do that. I was afraid it was going to shoot out. One drop right there. Okay. So this is not a big piece. So one drop is quite sufficient for this. And now I'm going to take my straw and I'm going to try to make it dry a little faster, really being careful so I don't spread it out. I do want it dry for this. You're welcome to experiment later if you want to just take the ink, the black, and then get alcohol in it and spread it out like I'm going to show you. You can do whatever you want to do. This is totally your project. I'm just showing you an easy way to start. So you can learn. Okay, that's pretty dry. I'm going to take my alcohol. What I'm doing is the similar situation to the bloom. Excuse my goopy hands. I'm putting some alcohol a little more toward the middle though, and I'm just going to, a real short burst of air. So a drop, burst of air. Turn it, drop, burst of air. What I want to do is just get a little bit of a shadow in the middle. So I'm going to have these both very handy, and I'm right-handed, but I'm going to use my left to drop the drop. I've gotten pretty used to doing it, so I'm not the best with my left hand, but if you want to swap them, I don't know why I'm going to do it this way. Probably because I want to make sure I have more control of the straw than the alcohol, to be honest. So I'm going to put a drop in the middle, and then I'm just going to blow it and turn it. And I'm only going to do it one direction each time for now, and we'll see how it looks. Okay, so you see I made a little bit of a shadow. That's what I'm after. That was 2 drops. Oops. Okay. So we've got a kind of a shadow here. And I'm going to get this white out. We can let that dry, it's fine. So the white is not an alcohol ink. It is an acrylic ink. And also some kits are also going to be, instead of this, they're going to get a small thing of actually white acrylic paint. And the effect is really similar, except that the paint is a little more opaque. And I will add, actually, I'm going to show you with both. I'll do another one and I'll show you what it's like with the white paint as well as the ink. So I'm not putting this white ink or paint on this at all. I'm not doing it. So I'm going to just move this over here a little bit. And I'm going to take, I've got my little tools ready. These are our little tools for our centers. So I'm just going to put some white over on the paper here. I don't know, can you see it? Yes. I'm just taking this dental tool. First, I'm going to kind of get an idea of where the light's coming from. So this is a little lighter coming this way. So I want the center to be as 3D as I can. And this does take a little while because as you keep going around, the ink underneath will absorb some of it. You just want to dip this tip just a tiny bit into here. And you're basically going in a circle, or you can go in a half moon. So just kind of follow my lead. And I don't mind that I go off. Some people are really off the center. Some people are super particular about their centers. And, you know, as I'm an abstract kind of gal, I don't really care. So I'm going to dab this a little bit. So you can see how it's picking up some of the color, which I think is a really neat effect. These do wear down, and actually the more you use them, the more you poke at them, you'll see that, see if I can show you in this. Oops. The more you poke, you'll get like little holes kind of in the middle. You can see that there. All right. So I dabbed it off a little bit, and I'm just gonna kind of a little bit. See, you need very little ink. I put too much there. And as it dries, we layer it. I want my lightest part to be just kind of up right about here. So I'm going to go a little heavier with that. I'm going to let a few of these kind of blow out of there a little bit. So can you see it? Let me look from up here. You can see it kind of taking shape, and we're going to get a 3D effect with that. Something you can do is take another color. If you, and you don't have to use the black. I mean, you can use blue for the center. You can use yellow. You can use whatever color you want for the center. So if I actually wanted to add a little yellow, and I wasn't going to do this, but it's a cool effect. I wasn't going to show you this yet, but I changed my mind. So I'm going to take a clean one of these and dip a little, just a tad of yellow, and just kind of go around there, outside a little bit. And because this is alcohol ink, it's going to make some dots in the bloom part of it. Okay, that's enough. That's as much as I want. Otherwise, I'm going to end up goofing it up because I have been known to overwork things. And then I'm like, why did I do that? So you can see that this acrylic ink, it'll be this a little bit different with the paint. And like I said, I'll show you that. But you can see that it is absorbing some of the color. So it's just a matter of taking time to let it dry and then adding your layers. So now I'm going to take a little bit extra because I think I want to try to get that light on the top here. So that's going to take a minute to dry. I can use my straw. Remember, be really careful doing this because it's really easy to just blow it out all over. All right, I'm going to set this one aside for a minute, and then I'm going to do another bloom, and I'm going to show you what the acrylic paint does. And it's really similar, and any feedback is appreciated, but I'm kind of hoping to go to the paint because the acrylic inks are super expensive, and I can't get them in bulk quite like that. So my goal is to keep the costs as low as possible. A large percent of the class cost is actually the supplies. And I want you to have enough supplies to play with and to really learn and enjoy this. So if I can keep costs down a little bit, that's helpful. I think I'm going to make a yellow bloom this time. So, all right. Actually, I did 5 drops because the droppers, after you use them, they get goopy. And I could clean it with alcohol, but I don't. Get that drying nice. Move my stuff out of the way so I don't whip it all over the place. You notice I'm not worried about stems at this point, and stems can be a little tricky. Actually, I'm needing more alcohol because these are, there we go. Kind of goofing that up. Okay, I think I like this, and actually, I'm gonna do one more quickie. Okay, I kind of like where this is going here. So, try to let this dry a little bit more. And it's sometimes a good, I think I only brought 1 straw. Well, never mind. I was going to say if, your straw, it gets kind of moist in there, so I'm trying not to spit all over my project. I'm gonna dab it a little bit. And using a paper towel is actually a cool effect. If you have wet inks, you can pull some up and it'll make little designs. It's kind of a neat way to make clouds if you're gonna go that direction. All right. Almost lost my black. I'm gonna put a drop of black down here, and I ended up with 2. I'm gonna quick try to dry it before it spreads too much. Okay, so I've kind of got the light coming down from the top. And a lot of times too, I'll turn it around and it just looks completely different than I intended, and that's fine. Like I said, I'm not super into control and structure with this. I just like a pretty result. I think that's the most important. All right, so I just have Liquitex Basics, just plain old acrylic paint. I'm gonna get my straw, and I think I'm gonna actually just kind of make my shadows down here a little bit first and see how that looks. I'm just gonna, it's mostly dry. Okay, here we go. Just one little one up to the top. All right. I like that. Pretty much the way it is. So, looking in the middle here, I have kind of a little blank spot. I'm just going to put one drop of alcohol right in the middle and just let it just do its thing and see what happens. And I do a lot of that. Okay, so now it's spreading a little far. I'm going to try to rein it in. Without blowing it all over. Okay, so I'm going to dab that ink off of there. So I don't get that all over. All right, I hope it doesn't all over. Okay. Same thing with the paint. You just need a tiny, tiny, tiny bit. I'm going to see if I can find a clean one of these. Got a few. Okay, these are all clean. Okay, so I'm dabbing into my paint a little bit and just going to dab it on there. Dab, dab. You can see it's really close to the acrylic ink. It's basically the same thing. The only difference is it's a little bit more, it's a little bit thicker, so it's a little more opaque. And the harder you push, you'll get some little, look like little holes. These are, I think they're just called dental tools, or they're like kind of like toothpicks. And I just get them on Amazon, and you get a gajillion of them for about $6 or $7. I think I get like 2,000 or something, 1,000 maybe. It's not terribly expensive. Okay, I'm gonna let this dry a little bit. And I'm actually going to come back to this other one here. I'm going to show you how this looks now that it's dried. So you can see there's kind of a light spot in the center, and still a little bit wet actually. And I don't cover that whole center because you want a little bit of that dark to come through. Just a tiny bit of that ink. Now that, remember, this one is the ink one. I can find my tool that had the ink on it. I'm just going to pick a little of that up, and I'm just going to go back to the top. It still is a little bit sticky, so but I think I'm going to leave it. Nope, I lied. So that's with the layering. And if you wanted even more 3D, let it dry for a while and just come back and get right up on the top of there. And it'll, especially in pictures, it looks amazing. Okay, so let's go back to this guy and my paint. See, with the paint, these tend to make more of those little weird holes. So I'm just gonna stack it up. I'm gonna stack it toward the middle. Sorry. I hope you can see all of that for the most part. It's kind of hard. I don't have a really good video set up yet. I have this, it's like a weird selfie, rubbery selfie stick thing. Probably kids use. So I'm working on it, so. And I really do plan on doing more videos too, and free videos as well. So I really kind of stacked this up in the middle. And I'm just gonna, I'll just add a little bit of texture here. I'm not going to add any more, I don't think. But I always like to give it a couple of, you know, maybe it's in the wind or something. Okay. So, this is what we did. And I like them. I think I like this one the most. I always love to use the yellow is just really amazing. I think it's beautiful. And it just, these colors blend so well. So here we go. This is the Simple Blooms, and we can save these for greeting cards if we want. When I come back, we are going to use one of the half sheets of paper, and we're going to do a multicolor bloom. Okay? Thanks for